And we begin by being present to ourselves, present to that deeper self, which is deeper than the agitated mind, the rushing mind, the planning mind. So let's just take a moment to be present to ourselves. Dialogue is an absolute necessity for the world today, and dialogue not only between politicians and political systems, but among religions. And the Parliament of World Religions is a wonderful witness, I think, to how that dialogue can take place. What I think we discover in dialogue is that the differences and the similarities that exist between religions, between cultures, between different ways of looking at the world are complementary, and that we can't deny the differences without creating divisions or turning the differences into divisions, which often are then other causes of violence. So we need to affirm the similarities, the common ground. I think that's what the contemplative dimension of religion does. It shows us where the common ground is, but it then gives us the courage and the strength to embrace the differences and in fact be enriched by them with the different perspectives that they offer us. First time I came to Australia, I remember I was giving a talk in a church on meditation and spoke about the 2,000-year-old tradition that we are recovering today and reinstating to the centre really of Christian life, the contemplative dimension of the gospel and of prayer. And after the talk and the meditation, a young Christian Aborigine came up to me and he said, "You've been speaking about a 2,000-year-old tradition." And he said, "I come from a 40,000-year-old tradition that has been practicing this same wisdom." It's important to have your roots in your own tradition, to have a sense of your own identity, but not as a closed identity, an identity that's rooted, but also expanding out into relationship with others. And I think meditation in our work is to teach meditation from the Christian tradition, the World Community for Christian Meditation, that's its mission. But as a very natural and fruitful overflow from that is the encounter with other religions, especially at this contemplative level. So we have, over many years now, engaged in dialogue and in social collaborative projects and action with Buddhists, with Muslims, with Hindus, and especially. So the dialogue, I think, is enriched by the contemplative practice. The contemplative practice both, as it were, shapes and affirms your particular identity, but also opens you to a universal brotherhood and sisterhood. So being in the present moment, we could say, is the essential work of meditation as well. When we meditate now, we will lay aside the thoughts of the past and the future, what we're going to be doing for the rest of the morning, the afternoon, the evening, the rest of our lives. This interiority without spirituality either becomes just ineffective and a sort of a closed cult which protects itself against the world and sees the otherness of others as a threat to itself. That's reflected, I think, in other areas of life. Racial prejudice, for example. We live in an age of economic migration, and one of the great dangers of the world today is the prejudice and the hostility towards these migrant workers in our more affluent countries. So that's one danger of religion. Without this interiority, we become simply closed and protective. The other is that we think that God is on our side. We have the whole truth in our pocket, and therefore we're justified in really doing anything against those who threaten us. So then it becomes dangerous. Then religion becomes a loose cannon, And every religion has to deal with this challenge of balancing and integrating the external and the interior, the social and the mystical. These are simply two sides of human nature, so they're reflected in the work of religion.